The laws that I live with are designed for my advantage. These laws are fundamental sciences. All the great eternal forces act in solemn silence. It is within my power to place myself in harmony with these powers and express a life of relative peace and happiness. Growth is attained through an exchange of the old for the new, of the good for the better. It is a conditional action. I am a complete thought entity. And this completeness makes it possible for me to receive as I give. I am able to consciously control my conditions as I come to understand the purpose of what I attract. And I'm able to exact from each experience only what I require for my further growth. My ability to do this determines the degree of harmony or happiness I create. The ability to create what I require for my growth continually increases as I reach higher planes and broader visions. And the greater my abilities to know what I require, the more certain I shall attract it and absorb it. All conditions and experiences that come to me are for my benefit, only what is necessary for my growth. Challenges will continue to teach me wisdom and the essentials of greater personal growth. I reap what I sow. It's reasonable and practical. I gain permanent strength exactly to the extent of the effort required to overcome challenges. The inevitable requirements of growth require that I exert the greatest degree of attraction for what is perfectly in tune with me. My highest joy is best attained by my personal understanding of conscious cooperation with natural laws. In order to possess vitality, right thinking must be fused with love. Love is a product of the emotion. It is therefore essential that the emotions be controlled and guided by my intellect and reason. It is love that joins vitality with thought and enables thought to grow. The law of attraction and the law of love are one and the same. I will bring the necessary material for its growth and maturity. The first form thought will take is feeling, then manifested into language or words. This determines the importance of words. They are the outward manifestation and the concrete demonstration of thought. They take hold by setting action into motion to reproduce the thought outward in the form of sound. Thought may lead to action of any kind, so whatever the action, it is the thought attempting to express in visible form. It is evident, therefore, that as I wish desirable conditions, I will focus on desirable thoughts. This leads to the inevitable conclusion that if I want abundance in my life, I must think abundance. As words are thoughts taking form, I must use constructive and harmonious language that will ultimately crystallize into objectives for my advantage. I manifest more as thought becomes clarified and takes higher planes. This is obtained with greater facility as I use word pictures that are clearly defined. It is with words that I must express my thoughts. As I make use of higher forms of truth, I use language carefully and intelligently selected with this purpose in view. This wonderful power of creating thoughts in the form of words is what separates people from the animal kingdom. By the use of the written word, I am able to review past history and see the evolution to my present inheritance. I'm able to come into communion with the greatest writers and thinkers of all time, and the combined record that I produce today is the expression of universal thought as it has been seeking to take form in the mind of people. I know that the universal thought has the intention of creating form, and I know that the individual thought is striving to express itself in form, and I know that the word is a thought in form, and a sentence is a combination of thought form. Therefore, when I ask for my ideal to be beautiful and strong, I must see that the words out of my temple will eventually be created as exact, put together carefully. So my accuracy in building words and sentences is the highest form of architecture and the passport to success. Words are thoughts, and therefore an invisible and invincible power that will objectify themselves in the form they are given. Words may become mental places that live forever. They may delight the eye as well as the ear. They may contain all knowledge. In them, I find the history of the past as well as the hope of the future. They are living messengers, creating every person, place, and thing. The beauty of the word consists in the beauty of the thought. The power of the word consists in the power of the thought. And the power of the thought consists in its vitality. When I apply the principles correctly, I am certain of my results. Where there is health, I overcome disease. As I let the light in, I release darkness. And where there is a need of abundance, there is prosperity. These are self-evident facts and all-important truth that a thought containing principal value is vital and therefore contains life, and it grows, eventually, surely, and certainly replacing all negative thoughts, as this is a fact that will enable me to destroy every manner of dis-ease, lack, or limitation. I am wise enough to understand and readily recognize the power of thought. It places a majestic tool in my life and makes me the master of my destiny. In the physical world, there is the law of compensation that states the appearance of a given amount of energy anywhere means the change of some amount somewhere else. And so I find that I can get in balance to what I give. I pledge myself to a certain action. I must be prepared to assume the responsibility for the development of that action. The subconscious does not reason. It takes me at my word. I have asked for something. I am now to receive it. Insight must be exercised so that the thought I entertain contains all mental, moral, and physical value with positive objectives for my life. Insight is a faculty of the mind where I am able to examine facts and conditions at long range, a kind of personal telescope. It allows me to understand the difficulties as well as the possibilities in any situation. Insight enables me to prepare for obstacles. I can avoid them before they cause difficulty. Insight enables the advantage to turn my thoughts and attention to the right direction. Insight is absolutely essential for the development of any great achievement. Insight is a view of the world within and is developed in silent, focused concentration. I concentrate on insight. I take a relaxed position and focus the thought on knowledge of the creative power of thought. My actions are custom, precedent, and habit. I apply knowledge with a determined, conscious effort. I call to mind. The value of the knowledge is gained in the application of the knowledge. I continue this line of thought until I have sufficient insight to formulate a definite program for applying this principle to my desired circumstance. I think, I feel, I speak, and act with love in mind. Wealth is a product of labor. Capital is in effect a means to an end. The most commonly accepted definition of wealth is that it consists of all useful and agreeable things that possess an exchange value. It is this exchange value that is the predominant characteristic of wealth. When I consider the small addition made by wealth to the happiness of the possessor, I find that the true value consists in its exchange. This exchange value makes it a medium for securing the things of real value whereby my ideals may be realized. Wealth is a means of accomplishing an end. Success is contingent upon a higher ideal than the mere accumulation of riches, and one who aspires to such success must formulate a worthy ideal that they are willing to achieve. With such an ideal in mind, the ways and means can and will be provided. There must be a definite fixed purpose, an ideal. The person of success is the one possessed of the greatest spiritual understanding. Every great fortune comes from superior and truly spiritual power. The power to create requires spiritual power. There are 3 steps: idealization, visualization, and materialization. Every corporate leader depends on this power exclusively. See a thing in its completeness. Have a vision of the law. I see cause and effect. I see that thought necessarily precedes and determines action. I am wise. I will realize the tremendous fact that human experience is the result of an orderly and harmonious sequence. The successful person is an idealist and is always striving for the higher and higher standard. The subtle forces of thought, as they crystallize in my daily moods, is what constitutes life. Thought is the plastic material that I use to build images of my growing conception of life. Use determines its existence. As in all other things, my ability to recognize and use this power properly is the necessary condition for attainment. The conditions I meet in the world correspond to the conditions that I find in the subconscious. This is brought about by the law of attraction. Whatever enters the subjective mind through the senses or the objective mind will impress on the subjective mind and result in a mental image that becomes a pattern for creative energy. I must also form my own mental images through my own interior processes of thought, separate from the thoughts thoughts of others. I am inspired by exterior conditions, in gratitude of environmental factors of any and every kind. And it is by the exercise of this power that I can control my own destiny, my mind, my body, and my purpose. It is by the exercise of this power that I take my destination into myself and consciously make the experience of self-desire. As I consciously realize the best condition, that condition will manifest in my life. It is evident thinking is the one great cause in life. To control thought is to control circumstances, conditions, environment, and destiny. To think is to create a thought, and the result of the thought will depend on its form, its quality, and vitality. The form will depend upon the mental images that it projects. This will depend on the depth of impression, the predominant idea, the clarity of the vision, the boldness of the image. The vitality depends upon the feeling that the thought has conceived. If the thought is constructive, it will possess vitality. It will have life. It will grow, develop, expand. It will be creative. It will attract to itself everything necessary for its complete development. I know character, ability, attainment, achievement, environment, and destiny are controlled through the power of visualization. I know that what I think determines the quality of mind, and that the quality of mind also determines my ability and mental capacity. And I can easily understand that the improvement in my ability will naturally be followed by increase in attainment and a greater control of circumstances. There are coincidences and there is ignorance. There are no accidents. When I want to bring about the realization of any desire, I will form a mental picture of success in my mind by consciously visualizing my desire. In this way, I will compel success. I will achieve in my life. I can see what already exists in the objective world. What I visualize already exists in the spiritual world, and this visualization is a substantial token of what will appear in the objective world when I am faithful to my ideal. The reason for this is simple. Visualization is a form of imagination. This process of thinking forms impressions on the mind, and these impressions in turn form concepts and ideals. And then they are the plans for the master architect to build the future. Psychologists have come to the conclusion that there is one sense, the sense of feeling, and that all other senses are modifications of this one sense. This being true, I know that feeling is the base of power. Emotions can easily overcome the intellect, and I must put feeling into my thought for results. Thought and feeling are an attractive combination. Visualization must be directed by the will. I will visualize exactly as I want. I must construct mental images that are known to be true. I must subject every idea to a searching analysis and accept only exact information. When I do this, I create what I know I can carry out, and attitude will support my efforts. This is my farsightedness. It is much the same as insight, and is one of the great secrets of success in all intentions. Things are effects and become as a consequence of correct mental state. As I desire material possession of any kind, my main concern is acquiring the mental attitude of the desired results. My mental attitude is a realization of my spiritual nature and my unity with the universal mind, the substance of all things. This realization will bring about everything necessary for my complete enjoyment. This is correct thinking. As I bring about this mental attitude, I realize my desire as an accomplished fact. The great events of my age are also the best thoughts. It is the nature of thought to find its way into action. I will understand the symbols of my reality. I will be focused on cause. I will concentrate on the realities of life, and I will celebrate my results. Prosperity consciousness is an attitude of mind. It is the open door to the arteries of commerce. It is the receptive attitude. Desire is the attractive force that sets the current in motion. Money weaves itself into the entire fabric of my very existence. It engages the best thought of the best minds with mastermind alliances. I make money by making friends. I enlarge my circle of friends by making money for them, by helping them, by being of service to them. The first law of success is service, and this in turn is built on integrity and justice. The forces of life are volatile. They are composed of my thoughts and ideals, and these in turn are molded into form to constantly reach out for the new, to recognize opportunity, to be interested in the race rather than the goal. For the pleasure is in the pursuit rather than the possession. I am a money magnet. I consider how I can make money for other people. I have the necessary insight to perceive and utilize opportunities and favorable conditions and recognize value. I have my greatest success as I assist others. What benefits me will benefit all. A generous thought is filled with strength and vitality. Great wealth is the channel for the distribution of wealth. Enormous amounts come and go. It is important to continue the flow. Both ends must remain open. And so my greatest success comes as I recognize it is essential to give as well as to receive. When I recognize the omnipotent power that is the source of all supply, I adjust my consciousness to this supply in such a way that I will constantly attract all that is necessary to myself, and I will find that the more I give, the more I get. Giving in this sense implies service. I have something to give. The more I give, the more I get. And the more I get, the more I can give. I get much because I give much. I think I am a person that thinks for myself. I want to know the results of my intention. I will seek to know. I do this. I will furnish the means for hundreds, thousands, even millions of people to profit. As they are successful, I will be successful. Creative thinking requires attention. Where attention goes, energy flows. The power of attention is concentration. This power is directed by the will. Concentrate and think of things I desire. As thought is creative, concentration manifests the thought. As I enjoy success, gain, or any desirable condition, I naturally concentrate on the effects of these things and create more. And so it flows that much leads to more. Spirit must be considered the essence of consciousness, the substance of mind, the reality underlying thought. All ideas are phases and activity of conscious mind or thought. It follows that spirit mind is the ultimate mind, the total thing, the ideal. It is reasonable that a true understanding of spirit and the laws of manifestation would bring about the most practical thing that a practical person will practice. Grasp this fundamental fact to move in the direction of the essence of all achievement. The creative power of thought is building an idealistic pattern of what I will manifest in the material world, adding, changing, and improving its detail from time to time, proceeding from the general outline to the finished detail. I see this to be the facts of the case for manifesting from creative thought. The infinite power will take care of the creative power of thought. Spirituality is quite practical, very practical, intensely practical. It teaches that the spirit is the real thing, the whole thing, and that matter is plastic stuff, that spirit is able to create, mold, manipulate, and fashion to its will. Spirituality is the most practical thing in the omniverse. The only real and absolutely practical thing that there is. I concentrate on the fact that I am a spirit with a body. Harmonious conditions necessitate sufficient supply. As this takes form, channels of supply open. I have the satisfaction of knowing that spiritual methods are entirely practical. The theory and practice of any system of metaphysics consists in knowing the truth concerning myself and the world I live in. Knowing that, in order to express harmony, I must think harmony. In order to express health, I must think health. In order to express abundance, I must think abundance. I have succeeded in doing this. I am thinking the truth. The truth consists in a vital principle to manifest itself. Those who heal diseases by mental